Please don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more English story. Olivia sat by the window, her fingers wrapped around a mug of lukewarm tea. Outside, the rain fell in heavy sheets, smudging the world into gray streaks of water. It had been one of those mornings again, silent and distant. Liam had left for work without saying much, only giving her a quick glance as he grabbed his keys. No kiss. No goodbye. She sighed, staring into the steam that rose from her cup. When had it all changed? When had her marriage become this quiet? This lonely? Liam had been her high school sweetheart. He was the boy who carried her books, wrote her long, cheesy love letters, and showed up at her door with flowers on random days just because they had promised each other the world back then. Vows whispered under starry skies and scribbled in the margins of notebooks during chemistry class. Everyone said they were perfect together, and for a while, Olivia believed them. When they got married 2 years ago, it was supposed to be the start of forever. But forever felt very different now. It wasn't always this way, Olivia thought. In the early days, their apartment had been alive with laughter. They spent weekends wrapped in blankets, binge-watching shows or cooking ridiculous meals that never quite turned out right. They were best friends, partners in crime, but slowly, life crept in like an uninvited guest. Liam got busy with work, leaving earlier and coming home later. Olivia, working remotely, spent her days alone in their small apartment, filling the silence with podcasts and her own wandering thoughts. She began to notice things that nagged at her, little cracks that deepened over time. "Do you still love me?" she had asked him once, half joking, as he scrolled through his phone on the couch. "What kind of question is that?" Liam had replied, distracted, not even looking up. It wasn't the answer that hurt. It was the tone, dismissive and cold. Now, they felt more like strangers sharing a space than the couple who once couldn't go a day without saying, "I love you." One afternoon, Olivia sat at her desk, her laptop open but untouched. An old photo album caught her eye on the bookshelf across the room. She walked over and pulled it down, brushing off the thin layer of dust. As she flipped through the photos, a younger version of herself smiled back, bright eyes, carefree laughter, hand in hand with Liam. The memories tugged at her heart. "What happened to us?" she whispered aloud, as if the photos could answer. That evening, when Liam came home, Olivia decided she couldn't ignore the growing weight in her chest any longer. "Liam, can we talk?" she asked softly as he hung up his coat. "Now? I'm tired." "Liv," he replied, rubbing his temples. "It's important." Something in her voice made him pause. He sighed and sat down on the couch, his shoulders slumped. "What's wrong?" Olivia hesitated, her words catching in her throat. She wasn't sure where to start. Should she talk about the silence? The emotional distance? The nights she lay awake wondering if she had made the biggest mistake of her life. I feel like we're falling apart, she finally said. I feel like I don't know you anymore. Liam frowned. What are you talking about? We're fine. No, we're not, Olivia said, her voice trembling. We're not fine, Liam. We don't talk anymore. We don't laugh. We don't even try. Liam shifted uncomfortably. I'm just busy with work. Liv, you know that. Things are stressful. That's not an excuse, Olivia said quietly, tears pricking her eyes. I feel alone, Liam. Even when you're right here, I feel like I'm by myself. He stared at her, his expression blank, as if her words didn't make sense. I don't know what you want me to say, Liam said after a long pause. I want you to care, Olivia replied, her voice breaking. I want you to fight for this. For us. But you don't seem to care at all. Liam looked away, his jaw tight. That's not true. Then prove it, Olivia challenged, her voice rising. Because right now, I regret marrying you. Liam. I regret it because this isn't love. The words escaped before she could stop them. A heavy silence fell between them, so thick it was suffocating. Olivia put her face in her hands, feeling like a dam had broken inside her. She hadn't meant to say it, but it was the truth. Liam stood abruptly, his face unreadable. I need some air. Of course you do, Olivia whispered as he grabbed his keys and left. The door closed behind him, and Olivia sank into the couch, her tears falling freely now. She didn't know what hurt more, the fact that she had said it, or the fact that she meant it. The hours ticked by. The apartment felt too quiet, too empty. Olivia curled up on the couch, hugging a pillow, her mind racing with what-ifs and regrets. Maybe she had been too harsh. Maybe she should have said it differently. But deep down, she knew the truth. She had been holding on to these feelings for months, trying to convince herself that things would get better, that Liam would come back to her like he used to. But how long was she supposed to wait? When Liam returned, it was late. Olivia was still awake, her eyes red and puffy from crying. He stood in the doorway, looking at her with an expression she couldn't quite place, something between sadness and guilt. I'm sorry, he said finally, his voice low. I didn't know you felt that way. I didn't want to say it, Olivia replied softly. But I couldn't keep pretending everything was fine. Liam sat down across from her. I don't want to lose you. Liv. Then we need to fix this, she said, her voice steady now. We can't keep living like this. Liam. It's not fair to either of us. Liam nodded, but he looked uncertain, as if he didn't know where to start. Do you still love me? Olivia asked quietly, afraid of the answer. Liam looked up at her, his expression softening. Yes, I do. I just, I don't know how to show it anymore. We'll figure it out, Olivia said, though her voice wavered with doubt. But it's going to take both of us. Liam nodded again, but neither of them knew what came next. The silence between them wasn't as heavy this time. It was full of questions, unspoken fears, and the smallest glimmer of hope. As Olivia lay in bed that night, staring at the ceiling, she realized that the road ahead wouldn't be easy. Maybe love wasn't always enough to hold two people together. Maybe marriage wasn't as perfect as the movies made it seem. But deep down, a small part of her wanted to try. The next morning, Olivia woke up feeling emotionally drained. She glanced at Liam's side of the bed. It was empty. She wasn't sure if he had slept at all or if he had even stayed in the apartment. In the kitchen, she found him sitting at the table, a cup of coffee in his hands. He looked like he had spent the night wrestling with his thoughts. Morning, she said softly, unsure of how to approach him after last night. Morning, he replied, his voice subdued. They sat in silence for a moment. The tension between them thick, but not as unbearable as it had been the night before. I thought about what you said, Liam began, breaking the silence. About how I've been distant. You're right. Live. I haven't been trying. And I'm sorry. Olivia nodded, her heart heavy. She appreciated the apology. But words alone weren't enough to heal the wounds between them. I don't want us to end up as strangers. Liam continued, his voice trembling slightly. But I don't know how to fix this. I don't even know where to start. Olivia sighed. We start by being honest with each other. No more brushing things under the rug. If something bothers us, we talk about it. Even if it's hard. Liam nodded, but he still looked unsure. And we need to spend time together, real time, not just sitting in the same room while we're both doing our own thing. Olivia added. Liam leaned back in his chair, his expression thoughtful. What if we took a step back? Not from each other, but from everything else. Work, routines, all of it. Just focused on us for a while. Olivia raised an eyebrow. You mean? Like a break from our normal lives? Yeah, Liam said. I have some vacation time saved up. We could go somewhere, just the two of us. Maybe get out of this apartment. Away from all the distractions. The idea surprised Olivia. Liam had always been so focused on work, rarely taking time off. But the thought of leaving everything behind, even for a little while, sounded tempting. Where would we go? She asked cautiously. I don't know, Liam admitted. Somewhere quiet. Somewhere we can just be. Olivia hesitated. She wasn't sure if a change of scenery would solve their problems. But it might give them a chance to reconnect, or at least figure out if there was still something worth saving. Okay, she said finally. Let's do it. A week later, They found themselves in a small cabin nestled in the woods. It was simple and cozy, with a fireplace and large windows that overlooked a serene lake. Olivia had been skeptical at first, but the peaceful surroundings began to ease some of the tension she had been carrying. The first day was awkward. They weren't used to being alone together without the distractions of work, phones, or TV. Conversations felt stilted, and Olivia couldn't shake the lingering doubts in her mind. But on the second day, something shifted. They went for a hike along a nearby trail, the crisp autumn air invigorating. Liam made a joke about his terrible sense of direction, and Olivia found herself laughing, a real, genuine laugh she hadn't felt in months. Later, as they sat by the fireplace, Liam pulled out an old deck of cards. "Do you remember when we used to play this in college?" he asked, a small smile tugging at his lips. Olivia nodded, the memory warming her heart. They spent hours playing card games, teasing each other over wins and losses. For the first time in a long while, it felt like they were connecting again. As the days passed, Olivia began to see glimpses of the Liam she had fallen in love with. The Liam who made her laugh until her stomach hurt, who listened to her dreams and fears, who made her feel like the most important person in the world. But she also realized something else. She had changed, too. The girl who had once built her entire world around Liam was gone. She had grown into a woman who needed more than love to feel whole. She needed respect, effort, and partnership. One evening, as they sat by the lake watching the sunset, Olivia decided to open up. "Liam, I need to tell you something," she said, her voice steady. He turned to her, his expression serious. "What is it?" "I've been holding on to a lot of resentment," she admitted. "Not just because of how distant you've been, but because I feel like I lost myself in this marriage. I stopped chasing my own dreams. I stopped speaking up when things bothered me because I was so afraid of ruining what we had." Liam looked at her, guilt flashing across his face. "Liv, I never wanted you to feel that way." "I know," Olivia said, "but it happened. And I can't keep pretending that everything will magically get better. We both need to change if we want this to work." Liam nodded slowly. "You're right. I've been selfish. Liv, I've been so focused on my own problems that I didn't see what it was doing to us. I don't want to lose you, but I know I have to do better." They sat in silence for a while, the weight of their conversation hanging in the air. "Do you think we can fix this?" Liam asked quietly. "I don't know," Olivia admitted, "but I'm willing to try if you are." Liam reached for her hand, his grip firm and reassuring. "I am." The rest of their trip was a mix of bittersweet moments and cautious hope. They talked more than they had in months, sharing their fears, regrets, and dreams for the future. It wasn't perfect, and there were still moments of tension, but it felt like a step in the right direction. When they returned home, Olivia knew the real work was just beginning. It would take time, effort, and a lot of patience to rebuild their marriage. But for the first time in a long time, she felt a spark of hope. Part 3. Back at home, Olivia and Liam found themselves in familiar surroundings, but with a new determination to make their relationship work. The cabin trip had given them a glimpse of what they could be if they both put in the effort. But the real test would be in their daily lives. Surrounded by the responsibilities and distractions that had pulled them apart in the first place. The first week back was tough. They had agreed to be more open and communicative, but old habits were hard to break. Liam still got absorbed in work, often forgetting to check in with Olivia, while she struggled to voice her feelings without fear of causing conflict. One evening, after a particularly stressful day at work, Liam came home late, exhausted and irritable. Olivia was waiting for him, dinner growing cold on the table. "You're late," she said. Try to keep her tone neutral. "I know. I'm sorry," Liam replied, rubbing his temples. "It's just been a crazy day." Olivia took a deep breath, reminding herself of their promise to talk things through instead of letting resentment build. "Liam, I understand work is important, but I need us to prioritize our time together. If you're going to be late, can you at least let me know?" Liam hesitated, his first instinct to defend himself. But he caught himself and nodded. "You're right. I'll do better. I don't want you to feel like I'm not making time for us." It was a small moment, but it felt significant. As the weeks went on, Olivia and Liam began to find a rhythm. They started having check-in nights once a week, where they would sit down, talk about their feelings, and discuss how they could support each other better. Sometimes the conversations were difficult, uncovering buried frustrations and unmet needs. But they also brought moments of understanding and connection. One evening during a check-in, Olivia brought up something she had been thinking about for a while. "Liam, I've been feeling like I need to focus more on my own goals," she said. "What do you mean?" Liam asked, his brow furrowing. "I've been so wrapped up in trying to make our marriage work that I've put my own dreams on hold," Olivia explained. "I want to go back to school, pursue my passion for interior design. It's something I've always wanted to do, but I kept telling myself it wasn't the right time." Liam looked at her, a mixture of surprise and guilt in his eyes. "Liv, I had no idea you felt that way. Why didn't you tell me?" "I guess I was afraid," Olivia admitted. "Afraid that it would make things harder between us, or that you wouldn't support me." Liam reached across the table, taking her hand in his. "Olivia, I want you to chase your dreams. If this is something that will make you happy, I'll support you 100%. You've always been there for me. I want to do the same for you." Olivia felt a wave of relief and gratitude. For the first time in a long time, she felt like they were truly on the same team. Over the next few months, Olivia enrolled in online classes while balancing her job and her marriage. It wasn't easy, but she felt a renewed sense of purpose. Liam made an effort to be more present, surprising her with small gestures like making her coffee in the mornings or leaving encouraging notes on her desk. They still had their struggles, moments of miscommunication, disagreements over finances, and the lingering fear that their progress could unravel. But they faced each challenge with a newfound commitment to each other and to themselves. One weekend, Liam suggested they redecorate their apartment together as a way to bond and support Olivia's passion for design. It turned into a fun and messy project, with paint splatters, laughter, and a few minor arguments about color schemes. By the end of it, their apartment felt like a reflection of their journey, imperfect but filled with love and effort. One evening, as they sat on the couch admiring their handiwork, Liam turned to Olivia with a serious expression. "Liv, can I ask you something?" he said. "Of course," she replied. "Do you still regret marrying me?" Olivia froze, caught off guard by the question. She looked into Liam's eyes, seeing the vulnerability and fear he was trying to hide. "I don't regret marrying you," she said finally, her voice steady. "I regret the mistakes we both made, the times we took each other for granted. But I don't regret us. Not anymore." Liam let out a breath he didn't realize he had been holding. "I don't regret us either," he said. "I know we still have a lot to work on, but I'm glad we're fighting for this, for us." Olivia leaned into him, feeling a sense of peace she hadn't felt in a long time. They weren't perfect, and their journey was far from over. But they were in it together. Months turned into a year, and Olivia and Liam had come a long way from the distant, disheartened couple they once were. They had worked tirelessly to rebuild their connection. But life had a way of testing them in unexpected ways. One evening, after a long day of work and classes, Olivia received a call from her younger sister. "Ava, Liv, can you come over?" Ava's voice trembled. "I need you." Olivia dropped everything and rushed to her sister's apartment. She found Ava in tears, clutching a letter about a failed business venture. Olivia stayed with her, offering words of encouragement and a listening ear. When Olivia returned home late that night, Liam was sitting at the kitchen table, looking worried. "Is everything okay?" he asked. Olivia nodded, exhausted. "Ava's going through a rough time. I couldn't leave her alone." Liam stood and wrapped her in a hug. "I'm glad she has you. You're always there for the people you love." His words warmed her heart, but they also sparked a realization. For so long, she had questioned Liam's commitment to their marriage. But in moments like this, she saw how much he appreciated her efforts, not just as a wife, but as a person. A new challenge, just as they thought they were finding their balance. Liam received a promotion at work. While it was a great opportunity, it also came with longer hours and more responsibilities. Olivia was proud of him, but his demanding schedule reminded her of the early days of their marriage when his work often took precedence over their relationship. One evening, Liam came home late, looking drained. He barely said a word before heading to bed, leaving Olivia feeling invisible. The next day, during their weekly check-in, Olivia decided to address it. Liam, I'm happy for you and your promotion, but I feel like we're slipping back into old patterns, she said, trying to keep her tone calm. Liam sighed. I know. I've been overwhelmed. I didn't mean to shut you out. I understand work is important, Olivia said, but we promised to prioritize each other. I don't want to lose what we've built. Liam looked at her, guilt etched on his face. You're right. I've been so focused on proving myself at work that I've neglected us. I'll talk to my manager about finding a better balance. It wasn't an easy conversation, but it reaffirmed their commitment to communicate openly and work as a team. Rediscovering joy. One weekend, Olivia and Liam decided to take a break from their busy lives and revisit the cabin where they had their turning point. This time, they brought along a list of goals they had achieved since their last visit. Olivia's progress in her design classes, Liam's promotion and improved work-life balance, the moments they had intentionally created to strengthen their bond. Sitting by the fire, they reflected on their journey. Remember how uncertain we were the last time we were here? Liam asked, smiling. Olivia laughed softly. Ido, I didn't think we'd make it. But we did, Liam said, taking her hand. Because we chose to fight for each other. As they watched the fire crackle, Olivia felt a sense of gratitude, not just for Liam, but for the lessons they had learned along the way. The ultimate test. Life's challenges continued. As they always do. Olivia's final exams for her design program coincided with a major project deadline for Liam. The stress of their individual responsibilities tested their patience and ability to support each other. One evening, after a particularly heated argument about their schedules, Olivia found herself questioning their progress. Are we just fooling ourselves? She asked, her voice breaking. What if we're not meant to be? Liam took a deep breath, his frustration softening. Leave. I don't believe in giving up on us. We've come too far to let this tear us apart. His words reminded Olivia of the strength they had built together. They apologized to each other, agreeing to work through the chaos as a team rather than as adversaries. A new beginning. Olivia graduated from her program with honors, and Liam's project was a success. They celebrated their individual achievements as well as their growth as a couple. One evening, while reminiscing about their journey, Liam surprised Olivia with a small gift, a scrapbook filled with memories of their time together. From their wedding day to the present. I wanted to remind us of how far we've come, Liam said, his voice full of emotion. I know our marriage hasn't been perfect, but I wouldn't trade it for anything. Tears filled Olivia's eyes as she flipped through the pages. I wouldn't trade it either, she said. We're not perfect, but we're perfect for each other. Part 5. A quiet resolution. The weeks after Olivia's graduation were some of the most peaceful she had experienced in years. The pressure of balancing her studies and marriage had eased, and for the first time in a long time, she and Liam could simply enjoy each other's company. But the quiet moments also gave Olivia time to reflect deeply on their relationship. One evening, as they sat on the porch sipping tea, Olivia finally voiced a thought that had been lingering in her heart. Liam, she began softly. I've been thinking a lot about us, about everything we've been through. Liam set his cup down and turned to her, his expression attentive. What's on your mind? I used to regret marrying you, Olivia admitted, her voice trembling slightly. Not because I didn't love you, but because I felt like we lost ourselves in the process. I was scared that we'd never find our way back. Liam reached for her hand, his grip steady and warm. I know. Leave. And I'm sorry for all the ways I contributed to that. I regret not seeing how much you were hurting. But, Olivia continued, a small smile breaking through, I've also realized that regret doesn't have to define us. We've worked so hard to rebuild what we have, and I don't regret that for a second. Liam's eyes softened, and he pulled her into an embrace. Me neither. I love you. Leave. I always have, and I always will. Looking to the future, their newfound stability didn't mean their lives were suddenly perfect. There were still disagreements, moments of frustration, and the occasional pang of doubt. But Olivia and Liam had learned to face these challenges with patience, understanding, and a commitment to grow together. Olivia began taking on freelance design projects, slowly building a career that gave her both fulfillment and flexibility. Liam, true to his word, maintained a better work-life balance, ensuring he had time for Olivia and their shared dreams. One weekend, they decided to tackle a project that had been on their minds for years, renovating their home. It became a labor of love, a symbol of their new beginning. As they painted walls, picked out furniture, and planned the garden, they found themselves laughing, reminiscing, and dreaming about the life they were creating. A celebration of love. On their 5th wedding anniversary, Liam surprised Olivia with a trip to the city where they had honeymooned. As they walked along the familiar streets, hand in hand, Olivia felt a sense of peace she hadn't felt in years. Over dinner, Liam raised his glass. To us, he said, smiling. To everything we've overcome and everything we still have to look forward to. Olivia clinked her glass against his, her heart full. To us, she echoed. To choosing love every single day. A life rebuilt in the years that followed. Olivia and Liam continued to grow, both as individuals and as a couple. Their love wasn't perfect, but it was real, built on a foundation of trust, communication, and mutual respect. When challenges arose, as they inevitably did, They faced them together, knowing that their bond was stronger than the obstacles in their path. And as they sat together one evening, watching the sunset from the porch of their renovated home, Olivia realized that while she once regretted marrying Liam, she now couldn't imagine a life without him. Because in the end, love isn't about perfection. It's about perseverance, forgiveness, and the choice to keep moving forward together. Moral of the story: love requires work. Marriage and relationships aren't perfect fairy tales. They demand effort, communication, and a willingness to grow together through challenges. Regret can lead to growth. Regret isn't always negative. It can be a powerful motivator for change and self-reflection, helping us to rebuild and strengthen our relationships. Communication is key. Honest and open conversations are the foundation of trust and understanding in any relationship. Forgiveness and patience matter. Forgiving each other's mistakes and having patience during difficult times can pave the way for healing and renewal. Choose love every day. True love is a daily choice to commit, care, and nurture the bond you share, even when life gets tough. Individual growth fuels strong relationships. Pursuing personal growth and fulfillment doesn't weaken a relationship. It strengthens it by bringing two whole, happy individuals together. Together, challenges can be overcome. No obstacle is insurmountable when faced as a team. With mutual respect and a shared commitment to the relationship. I'm so glad you spent this time with me. If you like the story, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more. Take care, and see you next time.